So again, the underlying logic of sexism, racism, and speciesism are the same, which is that it's okay to differentially treat something just because they are different from you or they're not in your group in some sort of arbitrary way. And the logic against these three things are the same as well, which is that it's wrong to differentially treat other beings solely because they don't look like you or they're not in your group.
Well, the same works for sentientism. The only difference between racism, sexism, speciesism, and sentientism is what is taken to be the relevant difference. The underlying logic is the same. It's okay to differently treat beings which are different than you, or in other words, which are not in your group. He is assuming that sentience isn't arbitrary, but he needs to show that being the case. Otherwise, sentientism would stand right along next to the other isms he is criticizing. Vegans generally believe that if human fetuses are insentient, then those humans are inferior and deserve no rights. Imagine a position which allows discrimination of other humans based on their growth and development. That sounds terrible, right? That sounds like some kind of ableist position or something. If you're against that kind of discrimination, then you need to rethink your veganism. Then, as pro-life, you can be a speciesist. You can also be an anti-racist and an anti-sexist, but you cannot be a sentientist. You cannot be one of those who think that the lack of sentience is the lack of moral value and rights. According to the pro-life position, sentientism would be like racism and sexism. Our vegan friend would ignore that and say that pro-life people, if not vegans, are like racists and sexist. Why? Well, because they aren't drinking his Kool-Aid. What about levels of sentience? If vegans would treat differently those beings that have different levels of sentience, then what kind of discrimination is that? Is that also ism of some kind? Instead of casting the first stone, vegans need to think more about their own position.